All right, folks, here we are for the fourth and final round of tonight. Caleb, we saw him last round with Dredge pull off a victory. And what's funny is I go in there and he said that Daniel was telling him to slow play it. But I point out about the Dredge land, Dackmore Salvage, and he's like, oh yeah, that was a line of play too. But he's going to be playing the other Law Brother, all three Law Brothers on tonight. Adam, Daniel, and Johnathan. Now, Johnathan is probably the least of the three experienced, but he's been playing Tron, and here he is. He has one draw, so if Caleb wins, he'll go undefeated. If Johnathan, he'll go undefeated minus because of a draw. He drew with Tron earlier today. So we're going to see how it goes. We're going to knock on the door and let them know that it is time for them to get started.
Now, the Dredge and Tron matchup is very, very interesting because Tron can do a couple different things that Dredge can't really do. So it's going to be very interesting on how each match plays out for this game.
Yeah, usually with Tron, and like we were telling Johnathan, with Tron you want turn 3 Tron with a payoff. And it looks like Doran Live 17 is wanting Tron to win. He says, let's go Tron. Let's see. We have, looks like 2 pieces of Tron and a way to get a third, because that looks to be an expedition map. So, yeah, Johnathan might get this. But if we saw, just like we saw, oh, it's Carlos. Hey, Carlos, welcome to the stream. Haven't seen you in a while. When are you going to stop in? We haven't seen, or like we saw in the last round, Caleb was able to go turn 2 and have 11 power on the field. Mine into expedition map.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Tron wants.
Yeah, and that's the standard Tron play if they can get it.
So Caleb, he's going to go to 17. We should see a Faithless Looting here as he tries to set up. Or he might play a Shriekhorn. And he knows his life total doesn't matter. We miss you too, Carlos. As soon as you stop working nights, well,
And there's the Faithless Looting.
Yep. So he wants to put a Dredger in the graveyard for next turn.
There's Life from Loam, and there's the Bloodghast.
So Life from Loam does have Dredge, so he will be able to Dredge next turn. And if he has another land, he'll be able to set up where he can play a land to get in. Or if he plays a land, he'll be able to put out Bloodghast.
And he does have a land in his hand, and I think he has another Bloodghast.
So that looks like to be Power Plant and Mine for Johnathan. So we're going to see a turn 3 Tron. Creeping Chill is going to... It's going to take Johnathan to 17 and Caleb back to 20.
And I do believe he does have another Faithless Looting in hand, so it's going to be very interesting to see what Caleb does here.
So he's going to play a land, play the Bloodghast. He's going to fetch, go to 17. This time he's probably going to get a Blood Crypt. So Jonathan's going to crack the map, and he's most likely going to go get Tower.
And now he's got Tron online, so from here...
Well, Tron will be in his hand, yep. So Cathartic Reunion, going to Dredge Life from the Loam. Get another Creeping Chill. That's going to take Caleb to 20 and Johnathan to 14. It looks like he'll be just drawing 2 more cards. So Tron is assembled. He does have Big Karn in there, and it looks like he has Little Karn. Nope, looks to be 2 Big Karns. So you should tick down and I would probably hit a land if I was him. That way he can't cast the life from the loam.
But who's to say that he wants to cast the light from low? Maybe he wants to keep dredging. But we'll see.
Well, there's no dredge in the graveyard right now.
That's true.
So being able to exile the land will stop him, or it makes it so Caleb has to have a land in order to trigger the other blood gas. And he has to draw because he has no dredge. Ooh.
There's a gemstone mine.
So he will be able to put in the Bloodghast. He can set up the Life of the Loam for next turn. And getting lands back into his hand because Johnathan's attacked his land base.
Comes down 3 counters, taps for any color if you remove a counter. When there's no counters left, you sacrifice it. Okay. True on Bloodghast. Another one, gotcha.
Now he's debating about playing the Shriekhorn, but it looks like he's going to play Life from the Loam.
Now is that just one at a time? Yeah. Pick up Meyer, Wooded Foothills.
And filling up his hand is not that bad either, because if he's able to mill over a Configurate, he might be able to handle some things from the graveyard.
Very much so. Now, it is very possible that we do... I wouldn't say that we see that second card come out, but we might.
So another tower, so he can play a bunch of cantrips.
That looks like another tower.
Yeah, but he's just played the stars and the spheres out. There's a Walking Ballista. That's pretty good right there. Walking Ballista can take over the game.
Yep, because he can get it for what looks like 4 mana?
For 6, which makes it a 3/3.
Yeah, and that'll take care of the Bloodghasts temporarily.
He's thinking about making it a 4/4. So Caleb should just exile a land. He's got plenty of them. Who chooses a Shriekhorn? Jonathan's leaving some mana on the table here. There he goes.
Yeah, there's the Prismatic Star.
I believe that's going to be it for my turn, sir. Dredge 3.
So that's a pretty good dredge there for him, and he has a Faithless Looting and a land. So he might be able to set up a big dredge.
Yeah, because that looks like it's dredge 7 or 8. 3 off of the Dark Blast, and then the Stinkweed.
But right now he's facing a Walking Ballista, a Karn. You know, and some unknown cards to Caleb.
So is he swinging out at the Karn?
He's swinging out at the Karn, but he could just kill both Bloodghast with
the Ballista.
Yep.
And that's also possibly why he didn't play his 3rd land for the turn yet, just so that way if that happened, he can replay them.
Yeah, now Johnathan has to be very careful. Looks like we're going to see Faithless Looting.
Flashback to Faceless Looting. All right, here's the big dredge.
Dark Amoeba hits. That's a pretty big hit. There's another Faithless Looting.
And there's that Dakmore salvage, too.
Yep.
Pitching.
So you should see a prize amalgam. And he has to pitch one other card. Might as well be the Stinkweed Imp.
Don't have another treasure. To Malcolm. Triggers. Get back. 2 Narcomoebas. Trigger on Malcolm.
So now he can set up for his next turn, if he has another one, for another really big dredge.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Karn's probably going to take care of the prized amalgam. And then Walking Ballista can take care of all the creatures that are on the board. Really what Caleb needed is he needs a Confligurate.
Yes, definitely.
Cast Spirit. I'll use my other colors. Float green. Draw a card.
There's a Sylvan Scrying there.
Green. Generate another green. Draw a card.
And there's a Mycosynth Lattice.
Yeah, but a Lattice doesn't necessarily give Johnathan the win right here. What he should do is just pump all his mana into the Walking Ballista,
Negative 3 Karn.
exile the prized amalgam.
And
Trying to channel my good thoughts to Johnathan.
Karn. Exile. I'm going to target 3-3.
So the 3/3 getting exiled.
In case for whatever reason this game goes to you.
Gotcha.
See, I think Jonathan's so where he has the Mycosynth Lattice in the main deck, it's kind of odd. Usually it's in the sideboard. Makes me wonder if he failed the D sideboard.
I'm not sure.
Alright. I'm going to build 2 counters on Walking Ballista.
Yep.
So going to play Expedition Man.
Is that supposed to be in your main deck?
No, it's not.
Alright. So, it's a game loss.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, because you felt the D sideboard
Gotcha.
from last game. And it's unfortunate because this card's usually ran
Yeah,
on
I
the
see it.
sideboard.
I wasn't really sure. So.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you what he drew a Mycosynth Lattice, and so we're going to go to game 2. You're going to be on the play,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Right. Because when I power shuffled, it was 60, so I wasn't.
Yeah, but did you count your sideboard?
I don't think it's a complete 15.
Yeah. So it's missing this, or is that supposed to be in the main?
No, I had one in my
Okay.
side.
Yeah. So you guys can go to sideboarding
Gotcha.
for game 2.
All right, it looks like we're going to game 2 because there was an error with the sideboard.
I was really confused. I was like, what are you what happened?
I left this in my sideboard.
So yeah, it's unfortunate there, that Johnathan failed the D sideboard, but even though this is that regular REL, you're still expected to keep the integrity of your main deck for the game. So, yeah, Caleb's going to win game 1 off of a mistake by Johnathan, and that's unfortunate, but it ended up being, it is kind of bearing as well, because if Johnathan takes care of the small things and he just top decks Karn, the Great Creator, he can play both cards without having to search.
Exactly.
And Lattice usually is in the sideboard. So that's why, I had to go and question. Yeah, darn rules, but,
Unfortunately, the rules run the game. Maybe that's why I like Commander, because then I don't have to worry about a sideboard.
Yeah, ever since they changed the rule that there's no sideboard, you know. So they're going to side up, and yeah, I'm pretty sure Caleb's like, ugh, you know, escaped. Because Karn looked like it was going to take the game. And,
yeah, he definitely did.
You know, I was sitting there looking at the Michael Sith Lattice, and I'm like going through deck lists in my head, and it's like, hey, Michael Sith Lattice is using the sideboard, so, you know, I went and asked Dan, his brother, and, you know, because Dan knows what the main deck's supposed to be in the sideboard, you know. And even though we're not using deck lists, the honesty there, I got to commend Johnathan for the honesty. He was looking at it, and he's like, I think this is supposed to be in the sideboard, but yep. So we're going to be going to a game 2. Jonathan's going to be on the play for game 2.
It sucks.
You know?
Last week, my first dredge, I flipped over a sideboard card, and I was like, cool, we're going to
Yeah,
get into
I've drawn it, and I was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, Johnathan. And like I said, when we started this round, that Johnathan is probably the least experienced of the Law Brothers, but a learning experience. And sometimes we learn from our mistakes. I know that my mistakes, when I learn from them, I remember them deeply and things like that. So, you know, it's one of those things. I remember one time I was playing in a sealed event, and I forgot to write my basic lands.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I forgot to write my basic lands on a... this was for a... I'm trying to remember, but I believe it was for a Grand Prix that was sealed, and I forgot to write my basic lands, so I got a game loss, round 1. I was able to correct it and get my lands in there. You know, they just had to do a deck check. So I'm glad it didn't get me kicked out of the tournament, and that was many years ago.
Yeah, I've never participated in any of the bigger events. Now I've gone and I've traveled and played Commander and stuff at the Grand Prix and the Opens and stuff like that. And even though they don't do deck checks, it's still very important to at least know what's in the main deck and what's missing.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, if Johnathan was at a competitive event, which, quick shout-out to Next Level Games. They're hosting an MCQ. They're in Nashville. For those of you that are here in the Clarksville area and want to go play in a modern Mythic Championship qualifier, there's one being hosted by TNLG. So good luck to those that participate. I would go myself, but I'm going to be out of the country.
Well, it happens.
So that's a quick reminder. We will not be streaming Friday or next Monday because I won't be in the country. You know, I'll be on a vacation with the family as we get ready to start the school year. I'm going to my sons are going to miss the first week of school because we're going to be on vacation.
Now, I know, like, me and the guys from the Reflecting Pool, we're going to go to Magic Fest in Atlanta to play in the Commander events and get that promo Soul Ring that they've got going on.
I'll be going to Atlanta as well to the Magic Fest because it's Legacy. And I'll probably try to play in a Commander side events if I bomb out of the Legacy thing, but definitely going to be playing Legacy in Atlanta. That's in September.
Yeah, and it looks like Johnathan here is taking a mulligan.
Now, Johnathan does know the basic rule of Tron, which is turn 3 Tron with a payoff usually helps. So it looks like an Ancient Stirrings. He has 1 Tron piece. This might be a keeper. Now, I think I heard Johnathan say he's going to keep the Lattice in the main deck, which I think is a bad idea because you're playing Karn, the Great Creator, and what that does is allows you to go search your not your library, but your exile zone for that artifact and put it in your hand.
Yeah, and it's easier for Karn just to go and get it than you side it out and then be like, oh man, I need something that I sided out, now I got to use that for something else that I could have used that was already in the deck.
So Jonathan's going to go to 5 here. Oops, Caleb dropping cards. Dredge versus Trons. This is our final round. of the night.
I think I went to 5 my very first game test, and it was like an awful 5. Leading into nothing.
You haven't started yet.
You get something that was like a snap, keep it 7.
So this one looks like it's a keeper. Now he's just deciding what he wants to put to the bottom. But it does look like he has turned 3 Tron.
And turn 3 Tron is probably the most important thing in the Tron deck, of course. Does he have a payoff?
Yeah. Now,
Expedition map? Doesn't look like he has a payoff, but he has a way of looking for a payoff, and he can always just naturally draw one. So Faithless Looting here. That's going to set up Caleb for his next turn, as he's going to discard a Stinkweed Imp, most likely, and another Dredger.
Discard. Stinkweed Imp.
There's the Imp and a Bloodghast.
Stay good.
So was that an Ancient Stirrings that he drew?
go ahead.
Looks like it.
Which could be very helpful in Jonathan's case because he doesn't have that turn 3 Tron payoff just yet. And there's that Conflagrate we were talking about earlier, it looks like.
Ghost Quarter. Trigger on Bloodghast.
So Ghost Quarter is a very good play here for Caleb because he could disrupt Tron.
And it's very important too. Because with missing just one Tron piece, it could hurt Tron a whole lot.
Play Shriekling.
And there's a Shriek Maw.
I'll let myself for 2.
There's a Narcomoeba. Both those will trigger and enter the battlefield. And that's going to trigger the prized amalgam.
And Caleb with the very strong turn 2 here.
Yep. And he keeps the Ghost Quarter up, so at the end step, he's going to crack that. He's going to show that he's going to get Tower. This might be where Caleb pops the Ghost Quarter to get him off Tron.
And he can always during upkeep do it too. It's just I think it just matters on the timing on when he does it.
Okay. Go.
So, try a card. And then in your draw step, Ghost Quarter your tower.
Okay.
Which is funny because Johnathan just drew a tower.
I mean, he just blew up a tower.
Yep. So that gives him green, so he doesn't necessarily have to play the star. So he can just play the Ancient Stirrings to look for a payoff for Tron. And try to go for turn 4 Tron, even though it looks like he's going to take 9 damage.
Yeah, and it all matters on what Caleb dredges here too.
Yep. So Johnathan, a little inexperienced there. He went and showed that he got Power Plant, but then he played the tower. He should have played the Power Plant to show Caleb that he doesn't have Tron right now, because Caleb blew up the tower and he drew a tower. So that's one of those chess match type things. And
Yeah.
And inexperience once again. Oh, Worm Coil Engine. That's probably going to be the big equalizer here, because if Caleb can't handle Tron on the next turn, Johnathan has that Worm Coil Engine.
Now it's very interesting. We did not see Caleb dredge just yet, so he's probably slow rolling it.
Well, he's going to dredge the life from the loam. But what that does is that also makes it so Johnathan's going to have Tron online. And if he gets down Worm Coil Engine, it's very hard for Dredge to beat a Worm Coil Engine.
Gemstone mine.
Gemstone Mine, he's probably might as well get it the beats.
7.
Caleb knows he's facing down.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and cast it. Ghost Quarter.
There's the life from the loam.
Yeah, but he's already played his land for the turn, so he knows Tron's going to put down that Worm Coil Engine. And now he has to battle his way through that Worm Coil Engine, which is going to be very tough unless he hardcasts the Stinkweed Imp. But even hardcasting the Stinkweed Imp is still hard to work around Worm Coil Engine because he gets 2/3/3s, one of them with lifelink.
Yeah, and with this Shriek Maw still untapped, he's still going to gain that 6 life.
Now, Johnathan drew Karn, but I think it's more important. I think it's very important that he puts down Worm Coil Engine. If he plays the Karn, he may end up getting locked out of the game. So Worm Coil Engine coming down. Use the 1 extra.
There's a Ballista.
So Caleb, with a Ghost Quarter in hand, can disrupt the Tron pieces again. Most likely hitting the tower because it's less likely that he draws another tower.
Yeah, very much so. Let's see what Caleb opts to do here.
He's going to dredge, which is probably the best choice. Now he's got to get Johnathan off Tron, and then he has to find a way to work around that Worm Coil Engine. Which, as long as he has life from the loam and he's able to dredge it, he can find a way around it.
Yeah, because he could just loop the Ghost Quarter.
Now, does he have a Confligurate in hand?
Looks like a.
Yeah, look,
I thought it was a Banefire, but I'm not sure.
a Flame Slash. Looks like it might be Flame Slash. I'm not 100% sure. A lot of red cards look the same to me.
But he does look like he's flashbacking the Confligurate?
No, Ancient Grudge.
Oh, okay.
So blocks are declared. So he's not going to gain any life, but he's going to get the 2 tokens. And he's going to take 4. He's going to mill himself first to see if he can get another Narcomoeba, a Creeping Chill.
So that's 3.
So 23 to 6. So most likely during his upkeep. So Tower's getting Ghost Quartered once again.
So it goes against the basic land. So now he's on 4 mana, which is enough for a Karn if I remember right. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can play Karn the Great Creator, but it's not going to do much here. And it looks like that's another Ancient Grudge in Caleb's hand.
Shows me another tab. God one.
So yeah, Ancient Grudge is what's in Caleb's hand, and that's pretty big here.
Now that does deal with not the Karn per se, but it does deal with the 2 worm tokens.
So he's going to get an Ensnaring Bridge, which is pretty good here. But with that Ancient Grudge, Caleb has ways to get around things.
So before draws, we got our mill.
He's going to dredge Life from the Loam. Ooh, that's a big dredge right there because he's able to put out. So Caleb actually has the game here because if he can, he's going to play the Ancient Grudge, destroy one of the tokens, play Ancient Grudge from the graveyard, destroy the other token, and swing for lethal.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Karn's not a creature, so he can't help out here.
Yep, and then he swings in, and that's the match. It's unfortunate that game 1 ended up getting, Caleb. Caleb wins off a technicality and stuff like that, but
yeah,
Johnathan still has a lot to learn, and one of the basic things is making sure that you reset your deck back to its original configuration. Hey folks, so that's our event for the evening, Monday Night Modern. So Caleb ends up going undefeated. He'll be getting a premium promo pack and some other packs for his effort tonight. Johnathan, we'll have to see where he placed, but I want to thank you, Andrew, for co-hosting with me. It's always better when I have somebody else to help me. I want to thank you for watching, and as always, you should like us and subscribe to us. We're going to take a week off, so the next time that you'll see me is probably Friday the 15th, I believe. Yeah, the 15th of August. Let me look at this calendar here. 16th of August. So that'll be our next stream is the 16th of August. So look for us to get back there. And, I hope to do really well in September for the Magic Fest Atlanta. That'll be the next break that we take. So, folks, as always, you're welcome to Battle at the Front Line. And thanks for watching.